Hello there friends! As you know, CSGO recently turned 10 years old, a great date to sum up some results, to make some conclusions. And also, the Dexerto portal, a very authoritative and popular source, compiled their top 10 best players for this decade. I decided to make a video based on this article, where we will discuss this top 10. Don't forget to write your top 10 best players in the history of CSGO after watching. Let's start! 10th place, Dupree. This player was part of the elite version of Astralis, a team that set a new gaming level, a new approach to organization, and a level of professionalism. It was the Danes who were the first to use the best practices from big sports, invited psychologists, developed not only their skill in the game, but also worked on their bodies and spirits. All this resulted in the historical era when Astralis won everything there is to win. For several years, they kept the entire pro scene at bay, and also won a record 4 majors, 3 of them in a row. Dupree has never been the main star of the squad, but at the same time he did everything for the good of the team. I mean, you can look at the list of roles that he played, starting from entry fragger to lurker and primary opper. You can say he reinvented the role of the best teammate. He never argued, supported everyone and gave his all for the good of the team. People even call him the heart of the composition. Despite the fact that Dupree was always the one to make any possible sacrifices, just so that his team would win, he managed to show incredibly stable numbers over the years. There was only one player who has appeared in the HLTV's top 20 more often this decade, and that is his teammate Device. Even though Dupree won only 2 MVP medals, he still deserves to be among the top 10 players in the history of CSGO. 9th place, Olofmeister. In recent years, he has become more like a meme figure, like a grandpa who will always come to the rescue and return from retirement to be back in line. But there was a totally different time. Fnatic were building their era back in 2015 with Olof on their side, and he was the main star of this collective. And what kind of crazy things he did with Tech 9. Olofmeister even became the top 1 in the world, and at that time, it seemed that the whole pro scene was at his feet. However, in 2016, he suffered from an unpleasant wrist injury, and due to this was out of action for several months. Unfortunately, after that, he was never quite the same as before. But even so, thanks to his incredible experience and great game awareness, Olaf continued to get into the list of the best players of the year. Well, and his greatness is once again proved by the fact that since 2017, he has remained an integral part of FaZe Clan, a team that has always been considered a composition of 5 superstars. The captains were changed over time, snipers changed too, and in general, basically everyone changed. But not Grandpa Olaf. Even after retirement, he had to come back more than once and save his team. At the same time, all his teammates have always noted what kind of a team player Olaf is, and he is ready to sacrifice everything for the sake of others. I think very few people can argue with the fact that this player deserves to be among the 10 greatest in the history of CSGO. 8th place, Guardian. Many people remember the Guardian for his not the best game in Navi when Simple gave him the role of a sniper. A bunch of misses, memes, hateful comments in social media. Well, it seems that he cannot go through this amount of pressure and decided to hop on tier 2-3 stage. But until that moment, Guardian was considered to be one of the most stable opper in history. Since 2013, he has consistently been in the HLTV's top 20 every season. Once he even appeared in the 2nd place. Throughout his long career, Guardian has taken 8 MVP medals and won a bunch of trophies. Yes, he may not have performed crazy flicks like Kenny S in his best years, he did not play in a super aggressive style like JW, but he always remained an extremely stable opper who you can always rely on. If not for the last period in Navi, then maybe we would still have seen Ladislaw at some major championships. And by the way, this is one of the few truly legendary players who never won a major. He was in the major final 3 times and lost all 3 times. 7th place, Caldzera. In 2015, this Brazilian player took the tier 1 scene like a storm and began to destroy everyone. Luminosity needed fresh blood, and they got it. Instead of becoming a guy who just fills the holes in a team, he got to a real superstar level. Until now, many consider his game at that time to be the standard for all riflers. After a spectacular start, he only began to show a progress further. In 2016 and 2017, he became the best player in the world twice in a row. In an interview, he said that he wanted to break all the records and would remain in the top for many years. But unfortunately, for the entire Brazilian pro scene, this did not happen. The scandals, the reshuffles, the downgrading of results, the changing of teams, all this has taken Caldera far and finally away from the title of the best in the world. Now he generally says that his time has passed and now he wants to train young talents, give himself more to the team and sacrifice himself, and he no longer dreams of any individual awards. Yes, Caldera was in the top for only 2 years, but his performances were so impressive and savage that according to Dexerto, he deserved to get into the top 7 most legendary players of this decade. 6th place, Kenny S. I felt like they did it for me, they did it because of me, shouted Kenny S in an interview in 2015. And many thought so too. Valve at one point decided to change the speed of the movement while zooming. For those who aren't aware of that time, I will explain. Until 2015, it was possible to move with an op zooming just like you do with a scout. That is, the speed of movement did not differ, and this gave the snipers incredible mobility and freedom of movement. Shox, Pasha Biceps, JW, and of course Kenny S used this advantage and could win matches all alone. Kenny S was generally a rising star at that time, who showed a crazy level in CS Source. He did incredible things and continued to show it in Go. Before it was fixed in 2015, Kenny was considered the best sniper in history. His aggressive peaks, savage flicks, and crazy statistics led to everyone playing like Kenny. Everyone tried to repeat after him. He won a bunch of trophies, won the major, and at each tournament received a well-deserved MVP medal. He is in 3rd place in terms of their number, together with Get Right. However, after the op nerf, his career rapidly went down. The rating dropped from 1.25 to 1.12. He began to suffer from problems with his mental health. Kenny remained a cool sniper. He was able to adapt to a new style, more passive one, but it was far from the same killer machine he used to be before. As he himself now says on his streams, his laziness is to blame for everything. He thought he would always be the best and trained much less than the others. It turns out that talent alone is not enough. Whatever it was, his game with the op was a revolution at the time. Many analysts consider him one of the most influential players of this decade. 5th place, Electronic. As you know, every Batman needs his own Robin, as Peter Parker should have Miles Morales by his side. Captain America should have his shield. In general, even Simple needs a teammate who can always back up. Everyone calls Electronic a star in God's shadow, but it seems that he quite likes it, and most importantly, this role suits him well. After an incredible level on Flipside, Dennis got a place in Navi, and from that moment, did not fall below 7th place in the HLTV rating. And this all despite the fact that he has only one MVP medal, the rest of course was taken by Simple. Despite the fact that Sasha is gaining the main numbers in his team, Electronic remains one of the strongest and most stable players in the history of CSGO. And now he has tried on a new role of an in-game leader and still continues to show a very high level game. 4th place, ZywOo. No one has ever shown the same performance before Matthew in his first year on the pro scene. As soon as he got into the pro team, he immediately began to show insane results. Then it seemed that no one would be able to interfere the battle between Simple and Device. These guys played at some other level, a unique type of it. But then, as soon as ZywOo appeared, the whole world immediately realized that now it would be a battle for 3. And if Nikolai was able to literally hold out at his level for another year, then it seems that Simple and ZywOo are not going to stop. On the contrary, everything is just beginning. Matthew became the top 1 in the world for 2 years in a row, while he never actually won any real big tournaments. There's no wins at majors, IEM Cologne or IEM Katowice in his collection. And in fact, he doesn't even have that many victories. But this does not prevent him from taking one MVP medal after another, showing crazy numbers and pulling out matches single-handedly. This Simple and ZywOo duo gave us an already legendary confrontation, in Messi and Ronaldo type of way. Let's hope that soon he will find a common language with his teammates and the legendary ZywOo, which we all know will return. 3rd place, Nico. According to Gopi, it took him only a few minutes at the first training session to realize that a real diamond was sitting in front of him. At that time, Nico had long outgrown his level and was waiting for an invitation from the top team. Mouse could not miss such a guy. Nico is the only rifler at the moment who can compete with the best snipers on the planet by numbers. And even with an op, Nicola always knew how to go full on beast mode. He was even a captain once. Maybe not his best experience, but it is still an experience. Nico is often not recognized as much as Simple, for example, although he definitely deserves it. And all because his list of trophies and personal awards pales in comparison with other guys from his top. Plus, he does not quite have the best reputation due to some numerous scandals and destruction of the integrity of the teams in which he played. But the most important thing is that Nico does not seem to be giving up soon, and he has been showing very stable stats for many years in a row. Even now, with all the difficulties in G2, his rating is higher than last year. Second place, Device. How can one underestimate a player with such a track record, a bunch of trophies, MVP medals, and his frequent appearances in the HLTV's rating? And of course, with that, Tom Cruise's smile. Just think about it. Since 2014, Nikolai has always been in the top 20 of the best players in the world. Unfortunately, this year will mess this incredible pattern. And all this despite the fact that Device is an extremely reserved sniper. He was never seen running all over the map like Kenny S or JW, never played as aggressively as Simple or Zywoo. But at the same time, Nikolai has always been incredibly reliable. This is especially true on the main matches of the championships. If you need a sniper who will take 9 out of 10 in any situation and who will not die at the most unnecessary moment, then all these years you could safely choose Device. Yes, he is not the most spectacular or bright sniper of the pro scene, but as trophies show, restraint and stability often bring results. The Astralis era would never have happened without Device. All analysts note this. And what can speak better than numbers? 30 trophies, 19 MVP medals, and a record of 8 appearances in the HLTV's top 20 in a row, 6 of which are in the top 5. Device has forever left his mark on the history of CSGO. His place in the pantheon of glory is unshakable. That guy is great and triumphant. The main problem of Device is that he has never become the best in the world. Even when he won 7 MVPs in a year, when Astralis simply wouldn't let anyone take the trophies, he still lost the race, lost to the one and the greatest. First place, Simple. Simple can come back from hell all the time. This is how Apex described Sonya. And indeed, no matter what kind of problem Navi faces, no matter how difficult the game is, at any moment, Simple can come and make the tables turn with him, winning an impossible clutch 1 versus 4 and set the mood so that the team will not be stopped further. At the beginning of his career, he went through great difficulties. He got banned for cheating, had constant scandals, gained terrible reputation. All this seemed to only educate him and force him to grow up. That only tempered him and turned him into a rock. Even after signing in Navi, this trace of the past continued to trail behind him. However, soon everything in the organization began to revolve around him. Like the sun in our galaxy, he subordinated everything to his laws and at the same time illuminated his path for everyone. 21 MVP medals, endless titles, trophies, recognition, and finally the major cup. Strangely enough, but even after such a long journey, he has not lost motivation. He continues to show crazy numbers and it seems that no one can stop him, not even Zywoo. After he lost first place at HLTV's rating 2 times in a row, Sonya somehow found the strength to fight further, to improve, although one would assume that there's no place left for him to improve. His performance in 2021 at IEM Cologne and at the Major has shown one of the best statistics in the history of the game. No one really knows where the limit of his capabilities lie. It seems even Simple himself does not know it. This is a real standard of combining talent and hard work, concentration and desire. Sasha Simple is CSGO. It's history, heritage, and pride. This is not just a global star, it is a real esports icon. There are also honorable mentions that could also get into the top, but they didn't have enough space. Fallen, Get Right, and Snacks. Well friends, this is the top by Dexerto. By the end of this article, I realized that after all, they were evaluating not the level of legendary, but the level of the game. Because of this, Forest, Shox, Crims, Flusha, or JW weren't able to have a place there. It's a shame Forest wasn't there. Friends, write in the comments if you agree with the top. If not, then I am waiting for your opinion. And I don't say goodbye for a long time. See you soon!